Hey everyone, and welcome to Business Boutique. I'm Christy Wright, and today we are talking about building community. Now, I want to start by telling you guys about a really interesting article that I read just a few months ago. This was an article in the Washington Post, and what they did was they showed research of 400,000 knitters, like knitting with like yarn, okay? So 400,000, I didn't even know there were 400,000 of them, but apparently there are. And the Washington Post talked about how they turned a hobby into a business. So you can see why this was interesting to me. But here's what I really loved about this article. This article talked about this really interesting phenomenon with this group of knitters that I actually have seen for years with women through Business Boutique. So early on in my research on women with businesses, I noticed a theme. There's this pattern and a process that many women go through in building their business. I actually talk about this in my book, Business Boutique. One of the things that really plays a key role in women taking their hobby and building a business out of it is this idea of community, this idea of support and camaraderie, where you're locking arms with other women and you're doing it together. You're doing it scared. Because entrepreneurship can be lonely. So I saw this early on, but I was fascinated to read this article in the Washington Post, how they studied this on a massive scale, 400,000, on a specific industry, knitting, and they noticed the same exact thing. I want to read you a couple quotes out of here. It says, the analysis of data on 403,168 individual knitters from 2007 to 2014 backs up this idea of community. It says people who joined a group to craft socially were 25% more likely than otherwise identical knitters to take the plunge into entrepreneurship. This is true even when correcting the data for geography, experience, skill level, and productivity. University of Virginia economist Eric Chin says that this tells us something about the way in which peers matter. Chin said Kim's analysis suggested that your peers may influence you in ways that academics don't usually consider. It's often believed that your social connections can propel you into entrepreneurship by providing information or resources that enable you to start a new business. However, the offline social network of the gatherings gave the knitters something they didn't have before: confidence. Y'all, as I read the words on the screen when I was reading this article, I was absolutely blown away at how this principle of needing peers, this principle of needing community, is still true in a specific industry like knitting and on a massive scale like studying 400,000 of them. That's the power of community. That's the difference that it can make. And y'all, I see this every single year at our Business Boutique events. When you put women in the room, 3,000 women from all over the country at all types of business, all industries, all different stages of business. It doesn't matter where they're coming from. When you put them in the room, there is this camaraderie that's created. There's this community and belief and energy that's created when they walk in the room. Because see, here's what happens. 3,000 of them show up. And they walk in the room with all of these feelings and fears and questions about their business. And they think they're the only one that feels that way. And they walk in a room and they quickly realize when they meet friends and talk to people and hear the speakers on stage that every single person in the room feels exactly like they do. And they realize, wow, we're in this together. I'm not so crazy after all. Oh, you mean I'm not the only one that feels this way? You know, building a business and putting yourself out there and being an entrepreneur or business leader can be really, really lonely. That's why you need community. Now, I want to talk in this show today about the 3 different types of community that you need. Okay, so if you're taking notes, I'm going to give you a list. There's 3. If you're running or in the car, you can probably just remember this short list. The first type of community that you need are people that are in your shoes. Okay, so these would be type of people that are in your same industry or your specific type of business. And what's going to happen there when you create community with these type of people that are in your shoes is you will feel connections with them that you can't feel with anyone else because those other people aren't in your shoes. So you'll be able to connect with them on very specific things that you're dealing with and get very specific advice and answers and things like that, resources and tools and solutions in regards to your specific business or industry. You'll get specific help, specific encouragement. You'll get best practices. Oh, here's how I set policies in a photography business or in an organization business or in a product-based business. Here's how I select and source my vendors. Here's how I come up with my marketing plan for a seasonal business like paddleboarding or Christmas decorating. So you're going to get very specific help, encouragement, and support when you create a community or find a community of people that are in your shoes. I got to give you a really specific example that I have of this. So I have a really awesome friendship with Dave Ramsey's daughter, Rachel Cruz. Rachel and I, over the last, 5 to 7 years, have become really, really good friends. And she's an awesome person, and she's easy to be friends with, so that's a given. But what makes our friendship so special is we can connect on something that I can't connect with hardly anyone else on. It's something where we understand what it's like to do what we do. We understand what it's like to be a teacher and a speaker and an author. We understand what it's like to go to a media hit, like a television station, and you sent talking points and you prepared your answers, and they don't ask anything you prepared for. They went off the rails, and you're on live TV, and you're just having to do the best you can. She understands what it's like to be on stage in front of thousands of people, and you tell a joke, and no one laughs. Been there. It's crickets. It's terrible. Rachel and I have so many stories of speaking events that were a disaster or media hits that were terrifying or book signings that you have an awesome story from someone. There's so many things about the work that we do that we connect with because we are in the same shoes. And so I'm so grateful for that friendship. I'm so grateful for my friendships like with Annie F. Downs, that same type of thing. She does the same type of work, and we have a really special friendship when we get together that we can laugh and talk and connect on things that I just can't connect with other people on. So the first type of community that you need, whether it's one person or two people or a group of people, is you need support and community and friendships from people that are in your shoes. Now let's talk about the second type of community that you need. The second type of community that you need would be with people that are in other shoes. Okay, so this would be looking for and seeking out an outside perspective. Someone that has a different vantage point, someone that has a different idea, someone that has fresh eyes to bring to your business or your situation that you're dealing with. You know, a lot of times we get so close to our business. We're so in the weeds. We love it so much. We know it so well that we truly can't see the forest through the trees. And we're always thinking this is the only way to do it. But someone else doesn't think like that. Someone else doesn't have those blinders on. Someone else doesn't have that experience and the backstory of, oh, here's how we've always done it. Someone else doesn't have those boundaries that they feel like they have to live within. So you can have unbelievable creativity and new ideas and fresh perspectives and new solutions that you could never think of on your own when you create community with people that are in other shoes. You know, actually at our business boutique in November, we had one of our speakers was Emily Lay. And Emily is beautiful and brilliant and just the sweetest. Everything you see about her online, on social media, she is in real life. She's just a joy to be around. But I was interviewing her on stage at our event, and I was asking her all about her branding. I love her brand. I love the colors. I love the consistency. I love everything about it. And so I was asking her, I said, tell me, what are some major things that you did that really helped get your brand to where it is today? And she said, you know, about a year ago, we actually hired some designers and some people that were new to the brand, new to the business. And she said, at first I was scared. Like, oh no, we don't do it that way. And oh no, we don't use those colors. She said, but the insight and the perspective that they brought to the table was brilliant. She said it helped us think of things that we had never thought of and think of them in ways that we had never thought of them. And it brought this new life to our brand and to our business. You know, I have a similar example, and this is a silly example, but it's a fashion one, so it's a fun one. So in spring of 2017, I was getting ready to go on book tour, and I was going to be committed to media in the morning, tons of media hits and book signings and events in the evening, and then we go to another city and state and we do the whole thing again. And so one of the things that the company did leading up to the book tour was they brought in a stylist to help me plan outfits, understand what type of shirts and dresses look good on camera, which ones look good on stage, and how to plan for that and that type of thing. So she comes to my house, y'all, and she has this rack of clothes that I'm going to try on, and we're going to put together outfits for book tour and that type of thing. And she brought stuff that I would never wear. Like stuff that you look at and you're like, no way. Like that's not me, or that's too weird, or that's too nervy. And y'all, some of those things she really challenged me on. She was like, just put it on. There were a pair of heels. You can see this picture. There were a pair of heels that y'all were rainbow tweed with a gold glitter heel. I know, they sound gaudy. They sound horrific when I describe them. You would see them on the rack and be like, I would never put on those heels. I would never have anything to do. I don't even want those heels near me. They're so awful. And you put them on and you become magical. Y'all, it transforms you. I can't tell you how many things she challenged me on to try or to experiment with that I trusted her and I went with it. And I realized there was a part of me I didn't even know was in there. There was this funky, fun, edgy style to me that I had been too scared to try. And now what's crazy 2 years later is that so much of my brand and my personality and even my style, people associate with really big, fun earrings like these, like giant blue hoops. Really fun earrings or really funky heels that come in different colors and patterns. People associate that as a brand staple for me, but it wasn't 2 years ago. It all started because I had some outside perspective. I had someone that for a minute, for one day, challenged me to stretch myself a little bit and try something new. So whether it's with fashion or something in your business or something with your brand, having community, having input and insight from people that are not in your shoes really can help you grow. And as a side note to that fashion thing, I want to challenge you guys. Don't ever say again, oh, I can't pull that off, because maybe you can. Maybe there is a side of you buried inside of you that you don't even know is in there. All you need is some rainbow and gold glitter heels to pull it out of you. So the second type of community that you need is community with people in other shoes. Now let's talk about the third type of community that you need. The third type of community that you need is a community for your customers. Because while you need community for your own personal growth and your own benefit, it's just as important for your customers, for them to feel connected with each other and, believe it or not, with you. You know, a few years ago, we started a business boutique Facebook group. It was a free group online, and with almost no effort from me, I don't put a lot of content in there. I don't do Facebook Lives. I don't do anything there. That group has blown up. We continue to get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new members to this Facebook group just because women want to feel connected. They want to ask questions and give advice and test out their elevator pitch, and Facebook is a great platform to build this community online totally for free. And I don't even have to do anything with it. I don't even have to maintain it because the power of community is in the community. You know, we have a separate private closed Facebook group for our Business Boutique Academy members. And what's so fun about that is that's exclusive. It's closed. I hop in there. I do coaching sessions. I do Facebook Lives. And they also have a different level of community because they're on the same track. They're on the same curriculum. They're getting the same teaching and training from me every single week. And so when they hop in there, they're like, hey, did y'all watch the video this week? I've got a question about the download. Can someone help me with the homework? Hey, I want to try this out. And so they have a community also. Now, of course, they can be a part of the bigger community, but you're creating a connection between your customers. You're creating a connection that has a real power and energy to it. You know, what's interesting is when you begin to do this, they will start to have their own language. It's kind of like this tribal language. Seth Godin talks about this in his book, Tribes, where they say things that if you're not a part of the community or tribe, it doesn't make sense. But our ladies, if you're in the tribe, if you're in the community, if you create this community for your customers, they'll say things and they know exactly what you mean. They say, I'm doing it scared. And you know what that means. So they'll start to have this language and inside jokes and stories and things that they feel with each other because they're connected on a completely different level. Because you got them connected to each other, and that also connects them to you. It makes them feel a part of something. It's the same type of association that people have when they join a sorority or a club or a group or have a clique of friends. You've got inside jokes. You've got secret handshakes. You've got all these things that are y'all's things because you are a part of that community. Now, I do want to give you a warning really quickly, okay? There will be a fear that you have when you create this community of your customers. I'm going to go ahead and tell you it's normal and you're going to have it. Here's the fear. You're going to think, if I create this community of my customers and I connect them to each other and they find all this fulfillment and satisfaction and energy and connection and happiness with each other, well, then they won't need me anymore. They won't need my help or my services or my advice or my products or whatever the thing is. That's normal. It's also not true. That's a really normal fear to have, but I want you to know that that is a scarcity mindset. And it's simply not true. You are the glue that keeps them together. You're the initiator that introduced them to each other. And believe it or not, they will be that much more grateful to you because you connected them to each other. And the bond to each other and the bond to you is even stronger than before. And what's so cool is when you do this in your business, when you do this with your customers and you stop treating them as individual transactions or individual one-on-one relationships, but instead it's this massive group of people that you're going to connect all of you together through your business and what you do and the difference you make. That's what creates a movement. That's what creates momentum. That's what creates loyal customers and word of mouth marketing and a community of people that are rallying around something. It becomes so much bigger than I just bought a product or I just signed up for a service. And what's really cool is it actually becomes a part of their identity. People don't buy a product or service. They buy an identity. And that's why you put stickers on your car or on your computer or on your water bottle. That's why you want people to know that you are a part of that community. You've seen it before plenty of times driving on the road. There are stickers for 31A, the coast of Florida where everyone goes and hangs out. There's stickers for Apple. I'm an Apple person. There are Apple people and non-Apple people, iPhone people and Android people. It's not just a product. It's an identity and everything that identity represents. Young Life. Young Life would be an example of a community that I was a part of and am still a part of. So if I'm out in public, and this happened to me just recently actually, I was in the bathroom at Chick-fil-A washing my boys' hands, which is always a real wet, messy adventure. And I saw two girls in there that looked about teenage years and they both had on Young Life shirts. Well, I met God through Young Life. I've been a Young Life leader. I've been a Young Life volunteer. I've been a Young Life donor. I love Young Life. So I instantly said, oh, Young Life. I love Young Life. I have a background in Young Life. And we start talking. And we feel connected to each other because of why? Because of Young Life. But it wasn't about a t-shirt. It wasn't even about a club. It was about the community and what that community represents. I was an 80 Pi in college in that sorority. So if I see 80 Pi stickers, I'm like, oh, sister, right? University of Tennessee. If I see someone wearing a Tennessee hat, I'm like, go Vols. You're connected. So think of all the different communities that you are a part of. Think of how connected you feel to those people when you see the shirts or the hats or the stickers, because it's not just a shirt or hat or sticker. It's not even just the college or organization or club. It's about the community that you feel a part of and the connection you feel to the people that are in it. It makes a difference, and your customers need that. They need community just like you need community. So give it to them. Give them community. Give them a place to connect. Give them a place to converse with each other and ask questions. Give them that place. And when you do that, when you give them that opportunity, you give them that community, what will happen is they will become more connected to you and your business than any sale could ever do. I want to also invite you guys, if you are interested in joining the Business Boutique Facebook group, you can go online to Facebook, search Business Boutique, and it's completely free. You can join and get connected to thousands and thousands of other ladies there that are part of the Business Boutique movement. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. And if you want to join my Business Boutique Academy community, which is my online training and coaching group, well, you can find out more information about that and our open enrollment dates at businessboutique.com.